I think the only way I can describe this episode as a pre-teaser is the quote from Mad Max, Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. We didn't really think this through, guys. Future Donald, just play the intro.
Just play it.
Play it!
Just do it now.
Don't sell yourself short.
Eat a big bite of this tiramisu muffin thing.
How is that one?
It's good.
Tiramisu is one of my favorite desserts, so naturally I'm curious.
Oh, I thought no.
Oh well, no, I don't care. I brought them intending to share.
The moment I took a bite of it, the first bite, I was like, wait a minute. Donald loves tiramisu. I should have let him have the tiramisu one.
You're fine.
Okay. Because I won't appreciate the taste.
No, it's okay. There's still an espresso one in there, so.
Mm-hmm. It's probably the one with the bean on top of it.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So while we're munching on cupcakes here, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the General Geekery Podcast.
Hey!
This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed.
I feel like I must partake in the sip of coffee, but I will do it with my pinky out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some ASMR stuff going on here.
Enjoyeth thine sips.
I don't understand.
As always, we are your very eccentric hosts. I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, streamer by night, Donald Kaczynski. Well, I mean, how else would you describe it?
I don't know. Can I describe myself?
Yeah.
And I am the co-host, the dice slinger extraordinaire, artiste magnificent, video game inept, and soulful kazooist, Hannah Kubiak.
She is really a soulful kazooist. Mm-hmm. She truly is one.
It's literally on my acting resume.
I've seen it. She's shown it to me, guys.
Yep.
So, today, Hannah actually suggested this topic because it's been on my radar for a while. This show took the internet by storm in a way that can only really be described as a phenomenon.
Yeah.
We are talking about the 2021 Netflix South Korean thriller drama, I would say. Squid Game.
Yep. I watched this show pretty recently. I kind of waited until everybody had stopped talking about it and it stopped being the thing because I'm apparently too much of a hipster to want to do anything that's mainstream, man. And having said that, I'm not a true hipster, but I don't care. So, I watched it very recently, and it blew me away. I thought it was going to be kind of not impressive at all. But I was watching it, and my roommate came into the room, and she was like, "Oh, you're watching Squid Game?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, and she said, "Don't binge it. Whatever you do, it'll destroy you." And I was like, "Okay, I won't binge it." And then I binged it. I watched the whole thing in a night and a morning.
I'm not gonna lie. I binged it in the time span of 3 days, and I did not feel too much by it compared to some others. But then again, the death game genre is not something that is foreign to me. But I'll get into that later. The further that we
can talk about different episodes and stuff and all that. But here's a little overview, I guess. So, like Donald said, it's a South Korean produced Netflix series.
I love South Korean shows.
I do too. About a group of financially desperate characters who compete in children's games for a chance to escape crushing debt. The catch, if you lose, you die. So it was directed by Hwang Dong-hyuk. I think is how you pronounce it.
Hold on. Let me see the direction.
I get to embarrass myself trying to pronounce these names again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You got it nearly right. You could say Hyuk a little faster. Hwang Dong Hyuk.
It's Huang or Huang? Huang.
Hwang.
Hwang Dong Hyuk.
Yep.
Hwang Dong Hyuk.
The reason why I say that is there's a really famous actor personality in South Korea who has a last name Gwangsu.
Gwangsu.
It's almost like the G is like silent, like Gwangsu.
Gwangsu.
So the G, like that G, like ong,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost kind of like a glottal silent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's how I
See,
that's how I memorize memorizations.
Yep. See, I took Japanese in high school. That was my language of choice.
Entirely different.
Because I was homeschooled. Yeah, very different pronunciation stuff. And so whenever I read anything sort of similar to it, I get all mixed up. But yeah, directed by Hwang Dong-hyuk. And it was described on Slate.com as having this Korean concept called Han, which is roughly translated as intense grief and unresolved resentment. It's all throughout this entire show, and which makes a lot of sense. Like, it's just the sort of helpless rage and frustration. There's a actual word for that.
Yeah.
In Korea, it's called Han, which is easy for me to remember.
Well,
it's part of my name.
Gotcha.
I wonder what the other half of my name means in Korean.
We'll figure out.
That would be fun to see.
We'll figure out one of these days.
The first half of it is helpless rage. So maybe backwards it's joy with agency. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I don't know. Okay. So some of the themes in Squid Game are social and economic hardship, the lengths to which people go in desperate situations. Parasite also had this kind of.
I was literally gonna make that connection.
Also had this kind of these kind of themes.
God, that's a film we need to talk about one of these days.
Yeah. So yeah, in Parasite, a family fallen on hard times con their way into employment in a rich household.
For those of you that don't know what Parasite is, it was the first South Korean film and first foreign film in general to win the Oscar for Best Picture. Mm-hmm. For damn good reason.
Yep. Yeah, that movie was came out in 2019, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Mm-hmm. Did I pronounce it right?
I believe you did.
Okay.
As I say with a mouthful of cupcake.
Yep. Another theme was dehumanization, which I really saw a lot. Like, not just the players in the Squid Game, but also the sort of people in charge of the game. They all wore these masks that just had shapes on the front of them and stuff.
Yep. Not only that, but
then they only have numbers.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but also like how they treat different foreigners that are in the games as well. Like mm-hmm. It's also like different race class relations.
Yeah, like there was that Pakistani immigrant, and then there was Sae-byuk, who was from North Korea.
Yeah.
She was a very compelling character, just like trying to get her family back together again.
Yeah, that's a huge one because there's still like such a divide, like even today between like North and South.
Yeah, there's the what's it called, the demilitarized zone?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So, and also the sort of they all have numbers, and the people playing the game are kind of treated like objects, mm-hmm. sort of, and the like when one of them dies, they come out with like not a coffin, but like this sort of like gift wrap box. It's got like a little bow on it and everything. It's everything about all the design for the games was like sort of juvenile and kidified and kind of disturbingly cheerful, you know?
Well, I mean, they set it up like children's games. Like
Yeah, and it was children's games, and which makes it. You start to think about it, and you're like, I had no idea. Like, the fact that it's such trivial games with such high stakes just makes it seem so much more bizarre and
it's like they leave it
and
all up
wrong.
to chance.
Yeah, like just how emotional a game of marbles gets.
Oh my god, yes.
That episode wrecked me. That was the one where I just started sobbing. but yeah, there's this sort of and it's almost intended to demean them, I think.
Uh-huh.
Making them play these stupid games like red light, green light, and and marbles and all that kind of stuff. It's just, ugh. And just the things people will do for money. And another theme was being trapped at the bottom in a futile situation.
It had a very class system commentary about it.
Yeah, about sort of like the higher ups, the wealthy and the powerful, have all of the control over the like masses of people who are really poor and are just sort of scraping away at dead-end jobs trying to pay off this insurmountable amount of debt.
Thanks, capitalism.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's true capitalism. Maybe it's crony capitalism.
Possibly, yeah.
We can talk about the distinction between capitalism as an idea and corporate capitalism.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, you get to see at the beginning these people's situations, just how their lives are going, that they would be desperate enough to do this. Like our main character, I'm gonna try and pronounce it, Song Ji-hun. Ji-hun.
Hold on, I have the pronunciation here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
They actually have it on Wikipedia.
Song Ji-hun.
Yep.
Song Gi-hun.
Oh, Gi-hun. Okay. Song Gi-hun. He's a laid-off auto worker, and he owes loan sharks tons of money. They what did they do? They were going to what part of his face were they going to cut off or something? Was it his nose? Like part of his nose?
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, it was just or maybe it was like the side of his mouth. I don't know. But they're basically threatening him in this bathroom stall, saying, "You have this much time to get us the money," and it's like tons and tons and tons of money, and it's impossible. Like, he had to sign over basically his rights to his body and his organs. Basically, they're like, sign this, like all you have to sort of be your surety in this is your actual flesh, basically. So it's kind of like if you don't pay us, we're gonna come and kill you because your organs belong to us. Like that. It's that bad. He's divorced, lives with his mother, and near the beginning of the show, like his inciting incident, I think, like the reason that he starts thinking about joining this game is that his ex-wife and his daughter they're going to be moving to the United States, which means that he'll never see her again, basically.
Yep.
So he wants to make enough money that he can prove he's a good dad and be able to keep her around and everything.
Which is why he signs up for the Squid Game without having any prior knowledge of it, because...
Yeah, he didn't even know that it was to the death. Like, they didn't explain it. They're just like, you come and you play this game. It was literally like they say, welcome everybody to the game. Come and play the game. The first game is red light, green light. And they start playing. And then somebody, the first person who is moving, who gets caught, and they just get shot. And everybody just freaks. No one knew. Which I think is... I think that really irks me. That's one of the I think that's the impetus for some of this Han that we've got going on, is that basically they're like, okay, yeah, you have us playing this game. We can't leave. We don't know where we are. You didn't tell us the terms. You didn't tell us it was to the death before we started playing. You know.
Well, Well, I mean, that's like fictional classism, like at work, though. Like, you take advantage of the needy, the dispossessed, like the refugees, everything like that. The ones that are down on their luck in order to basically provide entertainment. It's like it's like
Korean Hunger Games.
No, Korean Hunger Games, or basically this universe's version of like the Romans' gladiatorial combat.
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
Yeah.
It's like similar to how in ancient Rome, slaves and just captured prisoners would be forced to fight to the death in the Colosseum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So that's Sung Gi-hun. Another character that becomes pretty important in this is, let's see if I can do it, Kang Sae-byuk. Did I do it right, Wikipedia?
Let's see. I believe so. Cool. I believe so. I'm looking for the pronunciation. You continue on.
She is a North Korean who escaped to South Korea, and she is looking to get her family back. I think there was this whole thing where something like she was sent to China or something, but then they sent her back, or I don't remember. China had something to do with it. Or maybe I'm just getting that mixed up with a story I heard about. There was this woman who got out of North Korea and sort of was telling her story, and it was like they had to cross the border in the wintertime when it was like negative whatever degrees out, because that was when people they weren't expecting people to cross the border at that time, so that was when they had to go.
Right.
And then they managed to get smuggled into China, and then in China, because there was that whole one-child policy in China, and so a bunch of parents, if they had a girl, they didn't want her, so because they wanted a son to carry on their family, so they were short on women. So they would get the women who were trying to, like the refugees from North Korea, and basically use them as like prostitution or child brides or something, right. And just horrid stuff, and just like all this. You think that once they get out of North Korea, you'd think that their problems would be over, but not at all.
It's just a fresh new nightmare.
Yeah, it's a new nightmare.
It's an unfortunate reality that does persist to this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this woman, I want to remember what her name is, but this woman said basically it was they were so poor that they would eat like leaves and bugs and stuff, and it was kind of like she said something like, yeah, the government said they would give us everything for free healthcare, free whatever, but they didn't, Mm-hmm. So basically they made us completely dependent on them and then didn't give us anything. So kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. So Kang Sae-byuk, or Player 67 as she's known as her tag, a lot of people consider her like the breakout star of like this entire
Oh my
show.
gosh. Yeah, she was good. The actress was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. My God. I mean, that kind of like real life like commentary like with that, especially like the balance between like North and South Korea, and the fact that it's still like a hot debated topic like years upon decades later.
Yeah.
Made it such like a strong portrayal. And and we have a lot of time to spend with her. That really ups the stakes, ups the ante so far.
You get to see kind of where she's coming from and just why she needs to win. You know, like it's her whole family.
There's a thing that we need to mention, like before we continue on, because after the red light green light game, they all elect to leave the game.
Oh right, yeah.
But because like real life is still mounting against them, they decide to return.
Yeah, they all like vote to leave, and then different stuff happens in their lives where like it gets worse, and they're thinking, why I would rather be dead than keep on living like this. Why did I leave the game? I should just play the game, because if I die, it doesn't matter. I've got nothing. I've got less than nothing.
It is such it's such desperation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That really is just it's like back against the wall, I've got nothing left to lose mentality that really drives them, and the lengths that they go to like have them succeed. And when people try to like bend the rules in their favor in order to make it work, and then the almighty sword of Damocles from above, that is the game master, basically just like, nope. I saw that, I'm like, oh no. That was something else. I was like, holy shit.
Oh gosh.
They are not messing around with this.
Which game was that?
I forget which characters they were, but they were getting like info from like some of the guards or something like that.
Oh, was it the doctor who was helping them harvest organs in exchange for like information about what the next game would be?
Yes, I believe it was him, and then he got
Yep, he got the axe.
He got his just desserts, so to speak.
There's another character. His name is Cho Sang-woo.
Oh, the friend, right?
Business school, yeah. I just knew him as business school, honestly. So he actually, like, he and Ji-hoon knew each other. They were like, they grew up together. They were in the same neighborhood and everything.
Right.
And like everybody in the neighborhood was so proud of Sang-woo, because he went to university, he went to business school, he was all successful and everything, but honestly, he is just as deep into the pit of debt as everyone else. Like, I forget what exactly he did that caused, like, maybe he just made some stupid mistakes, but somehow he owes people a bunch of money, and then like his family's money and his life and his family's life. So he is extremely desperate. Like, it's not just him on the line for all of his debts and everything. They would come and take his mom out of her shop and kill her and stuff. Like, his entire family is on the line here. Business school. And then there's player number 1, the old man, who I really enjoyed the sort of the relationship between the old man and the rest of the players on the team that they put together.
Right.
Like, they were so respectful to him and everything.
Yeah.
It just warmed my heart that, people say like, oh yeah, no, nobody wants an old man on their team. He's gonna hold them back. But like he had insight in some places, and then in others, when he like being an old man was making it difficult for him. Like they tried to help him basically.
Yeah.
And I just loved that. They called him sir. They were very respectful. And
then the ending.
Yeah, the ending. I don't know if we want to spoil that, but
we won't spoil the ending for those that haven't seen it yet. But
the fate of the old man. But yeah, and the character of Gi-hoon in this the world of the Squid Game, like,
yeah,
it was very different. Like, at the beginning, when he was, he's just this guy who's unemployed and lives with his mom, and he's kind of a failure as a parent,
right,
and everything, and kind of a pathetic, whiny person,
right,
actually. But like they say that, like, I think that the sort of the challenge of these games kind of brought out some good qualities in him. Like he became a leader,
right,
kind of, and he was the one who sort of set the example of being respectful to the old man, and trying to get Saibyak on their team as well, even though she would give them a disadvantage because she was a girl or something. They're all just like, what? There was some. Oh, they were picking teams for this tug of war. That's right.
Oh,
and,
God, the tug of war.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that was horrible. Yeah.
Oof.
But they were picking teams for the tug of war, and the tattoo face guy, his team was picking all these really big, strong people. So because they had the doctor on their team who knew what the next game was going to be, so our team that we're following, they're kind of like they're picking really strong people, like we got to do that too. It's got to do with strength. So they were like, they had Saibyak already, and they were like, all right, everybody go and find someone else to be on our team. No girls, because like it would be a disadvantage. And Saibyak came back with another girl, and they were all really pissed at her. In the tug of war, they actually did really well because the old man gave them like a really quick lowdown of how he used to play tug of war in the old days.
Back in my day,
and it had nothing to do with strength. It was all about like, what was it? It was all about like coordination and all that. So,
like, you can have all the strength in the world, but if the unit's not working in like one like full effort, like heave, ho, heave, like like that.
So instead of just being like 10 really strong guys each pulling individually at random moments, it was a group of very diversely skilled people doing the same thing at the same time, and like paying attention to each other and following each other's lead and trusting each other.
Right.
Like when the old man was giving them instructions, and then when they were kind of starting to fall, and Sungwoo just said like, go 3 steps forward and then back, and everyone was like, are you crazy, and Gi-hun, who was at the front, he was like, okay, I will. And he took the 3 steps and almost went over the edge, and he's dangling there. And then the other people were off their balance, and they were able to pull them off. But, like, yeah, just that in the moment sort of just trust your team kind of thing. Like, I think that other team wouldn't have been able to do that.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
So...
It's like survival instincts kick in. It's like fight or flight. Like, do you take the chance like on yourself, or when your back's against the wall, you see no other option, do you take the gamble?
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny considering the fact that our main character has lost all his money through gambling.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and okay, so the cash prize for this game. I calculated it. The final pot was 45.6 billion won, which is the equivalent of $38 million.
That is still a lot of money, like, in both stuff. Like
$38 million. And that was assuming that every player was worth 1,000 won, I believe.
Because...
There were 456 players.
So 456 players. How much billion won?
45.6.
45.6 billion.
Stand by for math. Working.
45.
Calculating route.
Okay.
Just doing all my computer voices.
All right. 45.6 billion is about 45,600,000,000.
Yeah.
And we said there were 456 in.
Yeah.
So basically, each participant was about 100 million.
100 million won, which is $1,000, right?
Which would be $1,000
Right.
in U.S. money.
Yeah, in U.S. money.
Well, hold on. Let's see. More math. So you said it was 38 million in U.S. money.
Yep.
38 million divided by 456 individuals. Each person would be worth roughly a little over 83 grand.
Okay.
That's still a lot of fucking money for a life.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. I might have to do the math on that again. Maybe we'll have a correction corner. But, yeah. And I read a couple of articles about how this show was received in South Korea. And the one that kind of messed me up was from, well, let's go back a little bit. So, the sort of backstory we have for Gi-hun, he was a laid off auto worker, and he was part of a strike where his friend got killed on the same day that his daughter was born. Like, he wasn't there for his daughter to be born because he was on strike and his friend was killed right in front of him. But that was inspired by this real life strike that happened in South Korea, where these workers at Sangyang Motor, about 3,000 workers were laid off in 2009, and they protested on site for 77 days before this police crackdown came in with like tear gas and tasers. Mm-hmm. In the wake of all of them being let go, like 30 workers or family members of workers committed suicide, just like the hardships of not being employed or anything.
Yeah.
So South Korea, this sort of economic crisis, there was an economic crisis in 1997 and then another one in 2008, which I believe in 2008 that also affected us. I remember that. Like,
it was like a worldwide economic downturn. Like it was, I think it basically led to a government shutdown. If I'm not mistaken.
And 2008. That was. Yeah, I think I was like 15 or something. Uh-huh. So yeah, it's one of the this economic shutdown in 2008 is actually one of the sort of formative moments in history for millennials. The things that when people say, what was happening when you were growing up that informed the way your generation is now? And for us, it's 9/11.
Yeah.
The financial, the economic crisis of 2008, and the election of Barack Obama as well is like a big thing. It's like first black president. Sort of like everyone, people felt really hopeful after that. Like in America.
Yeah.
There
was a lot of hope for that.
We were going places, and so from that, because an economic crisis sort of happened just before we were supposed to enter the workforce, kind of, or while we're just beginning in the workforce.
Right.
Because of this economic crisis, we as millennials, when it comes time for us to get jobs, the jobs are subpar, go nowhere, are not great pay. Most good jobs have been shipped overseas already.
Yeah.
Outsourced to India and China and everything. So we have nothing to do. Like, people say that millennials are lazy, but we just can't find work. Literally can't find work.
Yeah.
Since I've been living here in Milwaukee, I've been moving from one one dead end, no benefits job to another. So like this show, and people are like, people like, I'm not that desperate, but I'm like, I can kind of understand why these people would play these games, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of different how other genres of like death games in fictional media have happened. Like, so I mentioned earlier that I've seen many different forms of media that revolves around death, like games of death, like
Sword Art Online.
That one's a little bit different. Basically, it's like a death competition or anything like that.
No, I've revealed you for what you are, which is mildly attractive 20-somethings, I guess.
Oh, congrats. Oh, you actually do know that I'm pretty serious. Oh, wait, I showed you that one. That's right. I forgot about that. But basically, I know one of the big ones that basically kind of inspired like the death game genre of like, especially in the 21st century, was the 2000 Japanese film Battle Royale.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Basically, long story short, once a year, a random classroom from a random school is picked to basically partake in a battle royale to the death, with the last because of like some fictional law that was passed like in universe or something like that. That was really like one of the first big films that had the death game like kind of genre attached to it. It has been cited as like the film or source material that kind of did inspire the Hunger Games,
right?
Which is also another famous death game genre.
Yeah,
and there have been many other different kinds of death game material, whether it be through anime or other forms of media. A lot of Japanese anime kind of take inspiration from like death competition sort of thriller genre at times. That it's I've seen a lot of them, so I'm not as shocked with some of the stuff that happened in Squid Game personally. But it's the approach that Squid Game took that I found to be more interesting. Like how I said earlier, like in episode 2, after it's revealed like what is going on with the games, and we figure out, oh, we can all elect to leave? Yeah, fuck this, let's go. But then you see the aftermath of like what, like how bad it is and why they go back.
Yeah,
they willing like
at that point you're kind of like, okay, now they know that they'll be killed if they don't.
Yeah, at first they were unwilling participants.
And then they take initiative, and that's where Act 2 begins, I think.
Yeah. Then, like, they tried to go to police and everything like that to try to convince them that this was going on. No one believes them, except for one character, which we did not mention yet.
No, yeah. The policeman.
The policeman who believed his brother was also in the game previously because there was a similar invitation that he managed to find.
Yeah, he basically sort of infiltrated the main complex as one of those suited people with the shapes.
Hwang Jun-ho is the character's name. So seeing them to go that far, like they're expecting like each moment could be their last, but they're going in anyway. It's like, okay, hand into the fire, but if our hand catches on fire, oh well, there's no water to douse it. We're fucked either way. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there was something about the show that kind of lit a fire under a lot of people. It's just like, would you do that in this kind of situation? It's a very, very out of left field hypothetical.
Yeah. I mean, the furthest I've gone so far is I went to see if I could donate my plasma for money.
Right.
But I did not have enough iron in my blood. So I was like, can I just eat a sandwich and then come back? And they're like, no, it's got nothing to do with, like, because you had to weigh a certain amount too. And I was like just under it. And they're like, no, it's not just to do with weight. It's also your blood.
Yep.
Your blood is bad. And I'm like, oh no, if I could sell my blood, I could eat red meat and make my blood better so I could sell my blood.
Yeah, it's kind of like selling blood, selling plasma, selling
Can't sell my kidney. I'm keeping one from my mom in case she needs it. My mom only has one kidney.
Good for you. Good for you. You're a good. You are a good child to your parent.
I think we all have the same blood type.
That's pretty.
My mom and my dad both did.
That's pretty useful. Mm-hmm. But yeah, basically, like, again, it's always a gamble. It's like, how far do you go in order to like make money? Like we live in a system that basically we do live in a capitalist system where like it's all like money governs a lot of stuff like around us, from basic living expenses to higher end stuff, and trying to climb the metaphorical ladder is always difficult.
It's impossible.
It's beyond impossible, especially considering like all the stuff that happens. Like, consider this when you were talking about like how we grew up in like the downturn in 2008 affected a lot of things. Even before that, like all across the board, the minimum wage has not changed in over 20 years.
Yeah.
Like even before like the 21st century, like over like almost to 30 years, like
and the dollar has less value now than it did.
Absolutely. I remember when we were children, $20 meant a lot. Mm-hmm. Like a lot. Like
nowadays that's like
it's chump
that's
change.
like 2 hours work.
Yeah, it's basically 2 hours work. Like it's like back then, like the United States dollar actually meant something in terms of value.
Yeah,
but now it's chump change, and people go to extraordinary lengths just to live and breathe and eat another day.
It's like okay, here I am. I'm working my ass off at 3 different jobs, and I still am not making enough to just barely get by. You know, like it's like I can't work anymore. I have to make more money with the time I have because I can't make more time.
Right. So there's some kind of like extreme thought in that subconscious that is buried deep down that we all have faced from time to time, like in our darkest moments, that kind of struck a pilot light.
Yeah,
at some point in watching the show for those who have seen it.
Yeah. Like the expectation, honestly, for millennials, pardon me.
No, you're good.
Is I did a podcast episode about the generations with my mom on SPLANCHNIC a while back.
Right.
So if you want to listen to that, it was pretty awesome. But
very informative.
But basically, my mom asked me. She said, "Okay, so what is after hearing your generation described and everything, what rang true for you?" And I thought, well, I now like the feeling that I'm always going to be poor was what I got out of it. Was that like, I'm not going to ever buy my own house. I'm never going to buy a new car. I'm never going to have my own washing machine. You know, things like that. Like,
right.
Like everything, if it's not Goodwill or used, it is unattainable. It's like new things are not a thing that we get, you know. And but yeah, just the expectation that you're always going to be poor. And this is what freaked me out. This article from Insider.com. The title is "South Korean Millennials Aren't That Different Than People in Squid Game." Like, so the average debt in South Korea in American dollars is $44,000.
Jeez.
That is the average debt in per household. And which is doubly bad because the gross annual income per capita is like 33,000. So it's like you owe more than you'll make in a year. Like if you worked for a year and put every single penny you made, if it was possible, didn't buy food, didn't pay rent, you could not pay off all of your debts in a year if you put everything towards it. And I was looking at this and I was like, wait a minute, are you serious? Like, I'm not going to say the exact amount, but that's kind of how much I owe in student loans, in car loans, in like all this stuff. It's just like,
yeah, it sucks.
Just like you get this meager paycheck and you're just hemorrhaging money, into these
literally. Just to sum it up in a idiot's guide terms, you can define capital.
You fucked.
You can define capitalism in terms of like gambling at the casino. 9 times out of 10, the house wins.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, here I go, and I'm like, yeah, where you make all this money and like a third of it goes to rent, and a third of it goes to loans, and then the rest is like utilities and whatnot. It's like food, gas. Like, what the hell? Like, what happened?
and that's us worrying about like just regular stuff of like living
life.
day to day. Like the people that are introduced to us in Squid Games are dealt in very different extreme circumstances in terms of like detractors from a different area, refugees trying to earn money just for their families to live, people literally having so much accumulative debt they are getting basically threatened with their lives and sold on the black market.
Yeah.
Like, these are extreme situations that they put themselves in order to be able to justify this.
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately, Discover has not yet cornered me in a bathroom and threatened to cut my nostril open if I don't pay them.
Oh, jeez. and I pray that it never has to happen for you.
Like, what are they going to do? Kill me?
Oy vey, everybody.
Well, this took a dark turn.
Oh, I knew it was going to take a dark turn as soon as we started talking about this because, like, the themes and the themes and the commentary that this show kind of brings up. It's kind of hard to not talk about it and not go into a little bit of a nihilistic tone about it.
Yeah.
But that's also part of the reality that we live in. This is just basically extenuating it to a fictional term that is to the utmost extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like people like try to get their own entertainment just to have somebody humiliate yourself. I'll give you $20 to just go over there and just make an absolute ass of yourself.
Yep.
This is basically the extreme version of that.
If somebody told me, like, I'll give you $20 to like go over to that person and go over to that person and tell them that you would like to have sex with a sheep and then walk away, I would totally do it. I'd just go over to the person, say, "Hey, I'd love to fuck a sheep. Bye. Give me my $20. That was easy." Like at a certain point, you have no shame.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was the most bizarre thing I could think of that wasn't like extremely crass.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think we got the meaning behind it, so don't worry about it.
I have 2 settings. Very tame and, oh good lord, that was so inappropriate.
I do have to say, I do love the times that you do go totally inappropriate, because even I'm not prepared for those.
Yeah, no, it's always like it's always like being smacked in the face, because you're like, wait a minute, did Hannah say that?
So...
I'm like, wait a minute, you've gone too far. I can't believe I'm saying this.
No, you're good. You're good. So, we're left at the end of Season 1, because it is confirmed that they're probably going to be doing a Season 2 of Squid Game.
I wonder how they're going to...
Like, how do they go from here? Do they just do, like, another set of participants? Do they continue Gi-hoon's story, or does anything else happen from this?
I feel like there's going to be some sort of attempt to infiltrate this place. Like, it's hard to do a sequel to something when most of your characters are dead already. Like, the point of the game was that everybody died.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'll have to be different than just another round of the game following the characters as they play it. I feel like
it could be another round of the game, but it has to have like another layer added.
Yeah,
onto
I feel
it
like
for
we'll have sort of like people infiltrating the sort of like the red suits.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Because it's either going to be that, or you're going to run into like the same kind of staleness of the Saw franchise, where it's basically new victims every single time, and maybe there's like a certain ongoing narrative happening outside of the games of survival and shit.
Yeah.
So, basically, what I really want to ask is, any particular things in Squid Games that really stood out for you? Like, which game was the most terrifying or just revolting for you personally?
Okay, let's go through what the games were, first of all. The first one was red light, green light, which was if the little robotic doll with the twisty head sees you, she shoots you with her mouth.
I still found that. Oh, it was really funny. I will be honest, but
turn around and it was like that sort of. It was kind of like haunted fairgrounds creepy is what it was. You know? Like something that it's something that's supposed to be like jolly and happy, you know, but it's like really it's like Tina's going to kill you, you know. Yeah, so it was red light, green light. How many games were there? 6?
I want to say yes.
Then there was that the one with the circles of sugar, and you had to etch out the
the
shapes,
matching game.
The shapes, the matching game. And then was it Tug of War after that?
I believe it was Tug of War next.
Yeah, Tug of War.
Yep, it was Tug of War after that. Yeah.
And then Marbles. And then the crossing the bridge, the tempered glass, normal glass thing. And then the last one, surprise, surprise, was Squid Game, which I called at the very beginning. I was like,
right.
Like the little intro thing where they're talking about what the Squid Game is. And I was like, oh, the Squid Game is going to be the last game.
Yep. Then game number 4 was Marbles. The most intense game of Marbles.
Okay, that was the episode that broke me. Because, you know, people who don't care about each other, or people who hate each other, getting each other killed, that happens all the time.
But the fact that they were deceived, that they thought they were going to be playing as trusted, and then they're pitted against each other to cut the field by half.
Yeah, so you choose you have to choose groups of 2. So they all paired up with somebody that they thought they would be good on a team with, which is basically someone that they trusted, you know. And then they had to play marbles against each other, and whoever lost got shot. That was harsh. And it was sort of, there was just this combination of like rage and shame with all this, like, because to survive, like Sungwoo deceived his friend into basically just handing him all of the marbles, and and it was obvious that he like felt bad about it, but he's like, I have to survive to save my family. And then Sae-byok, she and the girl who she was playing with, they just talked for most of the 20 minutes they were doing, and they were talking about why they wanted to win the games and everything. And Sae-byok told her story about where her family was and everything. And then the other girl, she was just like, I don't have a reason to win, so you should win. And she, like, gave her life up so that Sae-byuk could move on.
Yeah.
And then Gi-hun played with the old man. And the old man, who was kind of senile and forgetting things, like, Gi-hun sort of...
Took advantage.
He took advantage of it and was, like, was cheating a bit, you know? And then the old man, like...
revealed that he knew the whole time.
Yeah, that he knew the whole time, and...
he did it because he viewed Gi-hun as his friend.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, fuck!
Yeah, so, like... So, Gi-hun goes into the next round, but there's this... Yeah, there's this feeling of shame, you know, where him and Sang-woo, they...
Yeah.
It's like, you get through that, and you're like... it's one of those things where you don't want to say anything about it. It's like, how did you win? It's like, I don't want to talk about it. Yes. Not because it was like, not because it was not for the reasons you'd think. It was because I did something horrible. It wasn't because something horrible happened to me. It's
like you want to bury it deep down, but it's like, you can't run away from it because you have to face it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, you gotta soldier on because, like, thinking back on it for a second means death. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, God, the glass panel bridge.
The glass panel bridge was so scary.
I'm like...
There's no skill involved in it at all, except, like, the glass guy who could look at things and who could tell the difference, kind of. But...
And then somebody get the lights! Fuck.
Yeah, that one made me really mad because I was like, there is nothing you can do. Literally nothing you can do to... Nothing you can do to help yourself in this game. It requires pretty much... Well, just a very obscure skill, like that guy who worked in the glass factory, coincidentally.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like playing Minesweeper. It's impossible.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like playing War, that card game War.
Yeah.
Where it's just luck, complete luck. And,
pretty much, yeah.
And no one knew what the game was, so choosing which number you had and which order you were going to go in was also just like you couldn't prepare for that game, and I hated that. And that then, basically, like, yeah.
So basically, what we're saying is, from what we've seen so far, red light, green light shocked us. Mm-hmm. The second game, it was
very tense.
It was tense. We were ready for it. Tug of war, we were at the edge of our seat.
That one was really tense as well. I think Tug of War and the bridge had kind of similar feeling. Yeah. Mostly because there was it wasn't just you get shot. It was you plummet to your death. Basically. If they pull you off of the bridge in Tug of War, you all fall as a unit and just smack down like a bunch of rotten fruit.
And then we're like, okay, marbles. You are tearing me apart, Squid Games!
Marbles was another... They sort of spaced it out pretty well, because not every single one was like a... It wasn't the same kind of tension.
Yeah, there was a different kind of... I mean...
Like, there was some of them, there was sort of an anticipatory tension, where you're like, oh, I wonder, oh my gosh, like, is it going to be the right piece of glass he steps on?
Oh, and then
no.
And then in the marble one, the Pakistani immigrant getting fucked over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
just like,
that's what
I said. And his good friend who he trusted tricked him and got him got him eliminated. Yeah. And so yeah, it went kind of back and forth between a little bit more of like a high tension. Yep. You know, where you're kind of like, ee! And then like a low tension where it's very quiet, but it's still tense. It's kind of like when you're taking a test in a classroom where the teacher might smack you in the head with a ruler at any time. Yeah.
Never in my life did I think that a death game thriller could technically have a bottle episode. Using a game of marbles, but Squid Game proved me wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And then, like, people didn't just die in the games themselves. There was also, like, massacres in the middle of the night. Because people knew that the more people died, the more money you made.
All right.
So the goal was, they were like, oh, we want to increase the pot. We got to pick off some people right now. And there's just, like, just chaos ensuing.
Like literally, how much does greed lead into anarchy? And, like, how much humanity do you give up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and if you do that, by the end of it, what the hell was left of what you once were?
Yeah.
And
I
was the blood money was the blood money enough?
Yeah. And I think, if I recall correctly, Gi-hun never killed anybody.
Not really.
No, he never, like, during the like, fights at nighttime in the bunk room, no.
He never killed anybody at night like that. I mean, he technically is responsible for the death of the old man. Mm-hmm. And
he didn't kill him, but
he did not pull the trigger. But he still feels guilt for that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the final Squid Game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, even in that one, he didn't.
He didn't. And as shocking as, like, the ending of this first season is, especially if we're going to be getting a season 2, I really don't want to talk about the ending. Because if people have not seen it, I really want to save the ending for those that have not seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's something. It made my blood boil. It made my blood boil.
Yeah. Oh. So this has been Squid Game, a discussion by two enraged millennials.
Which, I gotta say, like, over the past month, we've gone through 2 Netflix adaptations that got released in 2021 between Squid Game and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
The live-action Cowboy Bebop. Our reactions to both of them are very, very different. Which?
Oh, you mean from each other?
We'll comparing each of them, like.
Like Squid Game was different.
Yeah, we had strong feelings on both of these, but
yeah. I mean,
they're varying degrees of strong feelings.
I mean, the part of Cowboy Bebop that I empathized with the most was just how hungry these people are all the time. It's like,
I mean, you are the one that craves bell peppers and beef between us, so
I want bell peppers and beef.
Ay, caramba.
We gotta get merch that says something like that. Have one that says just beef.
Just literally Hannah dressed up as Spike Spiegel.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't pull it off. I'm too short.
Please.
I'm too short.
Hannah, you want to cosplay?
I could make my hair look like that though if I really tried.
Let's do it.
I could totally make it into this giant like broccoli. Broccoli.
Hannah, if you believe that you can also pull off Izumi Curtis from Full Metal Alchemist, and I know you can.
I can.
You can do Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop.
Sweet.
You would rock that look.
Yep. I would just sit in a corner with a big thing of bell peppers and beef.
Oh, we got to get you a candy cigarette too.
Yep. And
candy cigarette.
I gotta learn some Aikido.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to because like jujitsu is all the groundwork, and then Aikido is like still using your opponent's movements against them, but it's standing.
We should get you a trench coat while we're at it.
Oh gosh. Here we go. Yep. If I ever go to like a I'm surprised I've never been to one of these before. Like a Halloween party or a costume party where it's like a gender bender theme.
Let's go.
It would be awesome. If you were going to a gender bender costume party, who would you go as?
I'll think about that and I'll answer it on social media.
Sweet. All right. I'm trying to think who realistically I would be able to pull off though.
I can think of a few, but
yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
Well, I'll answer too, like in reality,
Well, we're rattling on at
Let's
this point. We should probably
yeah.
wrap this up. Well,
we finished the actual topic ages ago.
Indeed. Well, guys, if you guys want to check out Squid Game, it is on Netflix right now. It has been announced that there is a potential second season in development. I am not surprised, but intrigued at how they're going to go with this possibility of a second season. What did you guys think about Squid Games? Let us know. If you guys want to listen to more episodes of the podcast, you guys can check us out on everywhere podcasts can be found. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can check out all of our episodes on YouTube and
the link in the description.
And all links and stuff in the description. You can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the tags that we have in the description of this episode. You can find Hannah at Pythian Legume on Instagram. You can find me at Ryuzaki MK7 on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. You can find both me and Hannah rolling dice with Loaded Dice Adventures on Mondays and Wednesdays, respectively, at the Loaded Dice Adventures Twitch channel. Link in the description as well.
Just assume there's a link. Links abound.
Everything that we're talking about will have a link. If you guys want to support the show in any way, shape, or form,
visit my Etsy shop.
If you guys want to support the show in any way, shape, or form, we have our Patreon as well as our Ko-fi page that you can donate to in order to help support us and help us create more content for you guys. Speaking of which, we do need to get back on an Epticon, hopefully soon.
Oh gosh, yes. You could buy us an electronic coffee.
Electronic coffee, please. Coffee for the penny governor. And if you guys want to chill with us and chat with us about everything that we talk about on the podcast, or just want to shoot the shit in general, you can join us on our Discord, the General Geekery Guild. The link for the Discord link is in the description of this episode as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been...
We should have a channel called Shooting the Shit.
Yes! That'll probably be the general discussion. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been episode 104 of General Geekery, talking
I can't believe it.
about Squid Game. I know, we're in triple digits. It's so crazy.
Remember when we got to our 10th episode and we were like, this is so exciting!
And now we're at over 100 and we're still not done.
No.
Incredible. For Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Kaczynski. And until next time, guys, don't join a death game for money. Take care of yourselves. Your lives are worth more than that. And always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.
Bye, guys.
That was a beautiful clink.
Soft.